I mean, it's
Right.
like I monitor it in terms of like I do a lot of the production and put all the music together and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And then I lead the conversations so that there's never a dead spot or dead air like I'm yakking right now. But the thing is
You
like,
and I
I,
have the gift of gab, so
yeah. But then it's like I lead it that way. But the thing is
yeah,
that when people tune in, there's like 15 different trainers and veterinarians that come on the show, as well as the producers are always invited onto the
right,
microphone.
right.
So it's a variety. You know, we get into the animal behavior things and the medical things, but we also get into entertainment.
Hmm.
I find that in radio,
Yeah,
if you're not entertaining
yeah,
and funny, or we make people cry at times. I mean, there's different things that we aspect with it.
yeah.
Um, if we don't go into those different kind of avenues, it becomes boring.
It
I
does,
mean,
and people are just gonna change the station, you
yep,
know. And even, I mean, even in podcasting, it's the same thing. You're just like, you want to entertain, you want to make people laugh. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you make them cry and stuff, but you want to get that information, that important information out to the pet owners, but you also don't want to be dry about it. You want to keep it fresh and going. But a lot of people don't realize how much is involved in producing a show. You're up against the clock, and it's national and really international, but because it's on the internet and everything like that. But as far as you having to be up against that clock, you have the top of the hour, you have your hard break, right? The top of the hour, the bottom of the hour, and then you have a couple in between. People don't realize you have to start counting backwards and come in and out and that type of thing. So,
and it is. I mean, in radio, when you're doing a show like that, you're working by the second,
uh-huh.
because you really have to watch the clock because you have to be out at a certain time,
Mm.
for the commercial breaks. Because radio stations all across the country, their automation will kick in commercials at certain times, and if you're not out by then it's going to have two things playing at one time,
Right.
which nobody wants.
Or they're just gonna cut you off mid-sentence and you're like, "Oh,"
Yeah,
like something like that, type of thing, but
and that does happen.
oh, yeah.
Where you run long
Definitely.
and then all of a sudden, you're cut off.
Yeah.
Um, but for the
I
ones that don't have automation, then you're not cut off, and
Yeah,
then you're kind of like two
overlap,
things playing at one time. Yeah.
right. I had the pleasure, speaking of Bob Barker and Betty White, I had the pleasure of, um, being there on the show, 2 different times where I got to be a part of that interview, so I love it. Yeah, there.
Yeah, they're in the backgrounds.
Yeah,
Every once in a
uh-huh.
while, that camera goes wide, and you can see their pictures behind me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Whoa, maybe John's controlling something, or it's a
I
gimbal
I didn't
camera or
touch anything.
something. I don't know what's happening over there."
It
But
was
it's
kind of
kinda
cool though.
funny.
They added a little
Eh,
bit, you know.
it's like it heard me. It's like, "Ooh, wide shot of the
Yeah,
wall
it
of
was
fame."
nice too. I got recently two awards that are behind me,
Oh, do tell.
from the
Let's tell
veterans
us.
of
Mhm.
the country. A
Nice.
friend that I know, did a big, promotion for the veterans, Army veterans, and
Mm.
Navy Marines, and they put a statue and everything together, a whole thing here in Tampa Bay,
Mhm.
as well as they're opening up an organization for the veterans. And through my sponsors, the two sponsors that I have right now, we made donations. So on behalf of my sponsors, then it came back at me that they gave me two plaques as thank you for donating to raise money for the veterans, which
Oh, that's nice.
you don't really get a lot of. I don't get a lot of awards or anything like that, but
Yeah.
when I got the certificates from MAC and the Veterans Association, I was just like, I was almost in tears.
Yeah.
It was nice to be acknowledged for something that
Mhm.
you're doing. And I've been
Absolutely.
out there now, like I said, for 35 years and
Mhm.
don't get a lot of acknowledgments.
No,
So
no, and sometimes you wonder, "Well, who's actually listening? Is anybody really listening?" And then you look at your stats and you're like, "Oh, that's so cool," you know? So that is very cool, to get recognized like that, especially from your local community. I think that's really cool to have
yeah,
that,
no,
you know?
it meant a lot.
Mhm,
And the thing that you were alluding to before is like with radio, we evolved
mhm.
that we incorporated social media. So
Right.
now radio is not only radio, but there's podcasts,
Hmm.
there's Facebook, there, X and all the other things, Instagram, that are
Right.
all part of shows nowadays. And then, the big controversy is, will radio survive? And I find it hard to believe that it wouldn't, because of the fact that radio is free.
Right.
And there are people, of course, that can't afford to pay $15 a month for one of those music channels, which I won't name. But basically,
Right.
they don't want to pay that.
Right.
Whereas, and according to stats that I've read and looked at, radio is still the biggest genre in cars.
Mm.
And that is because people don't want to pay that extra money. So
Right.
radio is free. They just tune in and you got to listen to a couple of commercials, but that's what, allows those like Talking Pets to stay alive, is
Hmm.
by having sponsors behind it.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, you're listening to it maybe on the way to work or the store or whatever. And, so it is there. And yeah, some of those subscriptions to those radio subscriptions are very much like you can't take it from one vehicle to the next. So and you're paying 15 or more a month. And there's a lot that, yeah, to be said about that.
And
Sure.
they get you too, because once you pay that $15 a month or whatever it would be for that certain music format or talk format or whatever it would be,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they obviously do quite well because
Heck yeah.
they profit in the millions and billions.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you can't share it. Like, you can't have a
No.
friend or a family member on it. They have to buy their own, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how they make the money, for one thing.
Right.
But the other thing too is, I think with the way the economy is going these days, right now,
Yeah.
that people need to make cutbacks, and I
Absolutely.
think things like that would be the cutbacks. And
Yeah.
radio would not, because it's free. People aren't paying for it.
Yeah. It's
But
the
these other
airwaves.
things, they are. And I'll
Right.
tell you, I mean, I made cutbacks in my cable TV. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do what you got to do in order to feed yourself and pay your bills. And that's what it comes down to. You look at the least important things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, John, tell me, what were your first animals when you were growing up? Let's talk about your childhood and pets. And did you have a lot of pets? Like, tell me about that.
Um,
And this
in
was
my
up in
house,
Pennsylvania, right?
yeah,
Okay.
grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania,
Uh-huh.
in a suburb called Manuka,
Okay.
in a big Polish community.
Yeah.
My grandmother came over from Poland and all, so
Mm, you must
but
have a good pierogi recipe.
oh, my mom, mm,
Mm,
she would make homemade pierogies
mm,
and all kinds. Like, she'd make chicken soup by scratch, and it was
yeah.
all kinds of Polish recipes and
Yeah.
stuff. And oh my,
So
I can
good.
just remember my mom being in the kitchen cooking, and it just
Yeah.
always smelled so good.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's sad that she's no longer with me,
I
and
know.
it's miss her every day. It's
Yeah.
very tough. But
Hmm.
I grew up. We had cats. We had a cat.
Okay.
We had a dog.
Hmm.
We also grew up in a hunting family at that
Okay.
time, so we raised beagles. We bred them, and I hunted till I was about 21.
Okay.
So when I graduated college out of Penn State, I just found it wasn't for me anymore.
Hmm.
And but growing up in the family, it was like we all hunted.
Hmm.
It was that thing.
Yeah.
Now I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I turned 21, I couldn't do it either. But and I'm not downplaying it. There's a lot of hunters in the world out there, and it does balance the population of wildlife and everything. And as long as people are doing it um, for the food, to feed their
Yes.
family and all, I
Yeah.
think that's important. If they're doing it for sport, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. There are
Um,
a lot of families who rely on hunting to feed their families, and not just for the day. Sometimes it could be for the year or the winter,
no,
you
you're
know,
right.
so
I mean,
that,
if
and they
you're,
use the entire and literally the entire animal. So, and give thanks and all that. So there is responsible hunting, I guess you could say, you know.
I don't eat meat like I used to.
Hmm.
I've cut back tremendously on eating
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
Still hard to give it up because it's how I grew up. A mutual friend of ours, Bobby,
Hmm.
um, He gave it up
Yes. Yeah.
entirely. He's a
Yeah.
vegan now,
Hmm.
and I'm amazed by that because he was the biggest meat eater I've ever known.
I know.
So it can be done, and like I said, I've cut back.
Hmm.
Not only because of the animals, but also because of the expense.
And
Um,
and health, all that too as
yes,
well.
health as well. I
Yeah.
felt much better now, not eating all that meat than when I used
Yeah.
to eat a lot of it.
Hmm.
So it makes a big difference in your
It
health.
does. It really
But
does.
back to the growing up with pets, I had my cat, I had my dogs, I had the beagles, and we always had that in our house. So I've always been the kind of person that had an animal around. Like my personal pet, I would say when I was a kid was a hamster I started with.
Yeah.
But family pet was a cat and dog.
So tell
But
me about the beagles. Let's talk a little bit about those beagles.
yeah, no, I mean,
Would you let's just start straight up. We'll talk about them and your experience. Here we go, wide angle. Yeah, I love it. I love it. John Patch talking pets live nationwide. Okay. And your awards, point them out. Oh, before they disappear. Well, there we go.
oh,
Oh, look
you're
at
reading
that.
behind me. I didn't know
Yeah,
what you were
yeah.
doing.
No, I'm sorry. Your camera
I,
just
I
zoomed
was
out
looking at you
again.
and I didn't even like know the
No,
camera
don't
was
look
back
at
there.
me. Look at you. Don't worry. Um, but would you recommend a beagle as a pet for people?
Beagles are one of my favorites. Maybe
There,
because I bred them,
yeah.
but I think they're amazing.
What kind of
The only thing is
things?
they do bark a lot
Yeah.
and they do howl a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I know a lot of people that have them as indoor pets
Yeah.
and they love them.
Yeah.
Um, I had them outside. They did a lot of barking and everything like that,
Yeah.
but we kept our beagles outside when we bred them.
Right.
And we raised pups and everything like that. And then they were all registered,
Hmm.
and we would sell them, but we would
Hmm.
train them a little bit too, once we got them going on how
Yeah.
to, hunt for rabbit and so on and so forth. But yeah, I would say about there was one male dog that I had that we had to keep as a pup because he
Yeah.
was the dumbest dog you'd ever meet.
He wouldn't make a good hunting dog.
If he saw a rabbit, he'd run the other way. Uh, and there was one day I was hunting with him, and I took him along, and because I had my female dog, my
Right.
female beagle, and she was great.
Uh-huh.
But I'd bring him and thinking, oh well, maybe he'll pick up on what she does. No,
Nope.
the biggest catastrophe with him was when he decided to find number two from a hunter that decided to leave it by a tree. And this
Talking
beagle,
about shit, people.
yes, this
Human
beagle
feces.
rolled around in it
Oh my god.
and had it all over himself.
Oh my god.
It was
He's probably so proud of himself too.
whether he was trying to mask his own smell or whatever, I don't know, but he wasn't doing the right thing. But no, that
Oh
was a
man.
beagle that didn't go far. I ended up
Yeah.
keeping him until he got old, and
Yeah.
he wasn't smart. But beagles are pretty smart dogs.
Hmm.
They're not like a border collie. A border collie is like the smartest dog according to like all
They
these
can do
tests.
chemistry while herding sheep. So yeah,
Oh,
border
it's
collies are next
yeah,
level.
amazing
Hmm.
dogs.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
remember Stanley Coren wrote a book, and the book was called The Intelligence of Dogs.
Mm.
And I had him on the show. And I remember this was many years ago, but I remember even back then, the number one smartest dog was the border collie.
Yeah.
The dumbest dog was I'm drawing a blank. The one with all that long hair, Afghan.
Oh,
The
Afghan.
Afghan hound.
Afghan.
Yeah, those were ranked as the dumbest dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was a pretty
Poor
interesting dog.
Afghan hounds. Come on, they're so pretty. They're
So
here
was
for their
Fabio, some
beauty.
people, but
Well, yeah.
I don't think he was that smart.
No, maybe not.
Meanwhile, he's probably
I don't know.
watching.
He made some massive money
Yeah, he did.
with his
Being a
long
hair
hair and
model.
muscles. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't believe it's not butter. Oh my god, yeah, dating
Until he got
ourselves.
hit in the face with that bird on the roller coaster.
That's right. I remember that.
And
The
it was
whole
at
thing.
Busch
That was
Gardens in Tampa
crazy. Yeah,
Bay.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.